Motivation is a component of emotional intelligence, and it is all about channeling the right emotions towards an objective or goal. In this video, I will talk about 3 techniques that will help you increase your motivation and how mindfulness plays a role in increasing this motivation. My name is Pablo, and welcome to More Than Mind, a channel about mindfulness that teaches you how there's more to your mind than you think. Motivation is a third component of emotional intelligence. I spoke about self-awareness and self-management on my past videos, and I will talk about the other 2 in my future videos. Now, motivation is a component of emotional intelligence because it is all about learning how to channel your emotions to accomplish your goals and objectives. And the key word here is emotions because, interestingly enough, the root meaning of the word emotion is to move. So if we want to become motivated, we need to leverage emotions that help us move. So how do we harvest or how do we channel these emotions that will help us move or will motivate us in one way or another? And there's 3 different techniques for that I want to talk about. First one is delaying gratification. The second one is choosing an optimistic explanatory style. And the third one is envisioning your desired end result. Okay? So let's start with the first one, delaying gratification. One of the most common challenges that you will face when starting a new project is the urge for instant gratification. Now, there are 2 emotions that move us all the time for instant gratification and make us abandon our current project. And these are boredom and frustration. Now, think about this example, which is a woman who wants to start her own company. She goes online, she's doing some research. Half an hour later, she feels bored with all of the different legal requirements and documents, and an hour later she's frustrated because she doesn't really understand what to do. Next thing she does is just turns on the TV for instant gratification because that is just so much easier to do. Now in this example, it is crucial to be able to delay gratification in order to stay with the task at hand. The question arises on its own: how do we delay gratification? There are many different ways to do this, but in my opinion, the easiest way to do this is when we understand that we're dealing with emotions, the emotions of boredom and frustration, and we know how to handle them properly so they loosen the grip over us. The way to do this is to observe the emotions with mindfulness. Observe them with compassion and curiosity and let them run their course. And in turn, the new emotions that will arise are emotions of peace and calmness, and those will help you get back to the task at hand, get back to researching how to start up your own company in the example I gave, right? Now, observing emotions mindfully and letting them dissolve is the part of self-management, which is the second component of emotional intelligence, and I talked about it on my last video. So if you want to learn how to do that in detail, observe emotions so that they dissolve, you can click on the link right here and you will understand how to do that better. Regardless of the project you're choosing to pursue, things are bound to get difficult sooner or later. And the key here is your ability to bounce back from setbacks in order to get back to the task at hand. And this takes us to our second technique that I wanted to talk about, which is choosing an optimistic explanatory style. When you're facing a setback, you can choose 1 or 2 different explanatory styles to explain the setback to yourself. And depending on which one you choose, your motivation will increase or decrease. One of them is the pessimistic explanatory style. And this one interprets the setback as something personal, a personal issue or a personal failure. For a pessimist, setbacks validate that he is not good enough for this challenge or any other kind of challenge. Now, the other kind of explanatory style is optimistic. And optimistic explanatory style essentially says that setbacks arise from conditions rather than an indication of personal value or ability. They're just temporary in duration, they're not permanent, and something about the situation can be resolved and can be overcome. It's not really personal issue, but more of a situational issue. So in essence, optimism is your expectation that things will turn out all right in the end, regardless of the setbacks and frustrations. Now think about it. This means that your success is a function of not just your skills and your intelligence, but also of your ability to stand defeat. Now let me explain this with a study that was done by Martin Seligman, who is one of the fathers of positive psychology. And he wanted to understand how does an optimistic mindset influence the success of a person. And for that, he looked at a very difficult occupation, a job, which is insurance sales. And this is a difficult job because they get a lot of no's versus the amount of yeses that they get on an average month. So Martin managed to convince MetLife, an insurance company, to hire candidates who scored high in the optimist's level, but did not pass the original screening test that usually would screen for things like IQ and intelligence. And what was surprising is that these people, these optimists that were hired, even though they didn't pass the standard screening tests, they outsold the pessimists by 21% in the first year and 57% on the second year. So what this is showing us is that optimistic people have the ability to bounce back from challenges and achieve higher results a lot more effectively than pessimistic people, right? And optimists have the ability to now not just bounce back, but also channel the emotions that make them feel competent and adequate for the task that they're undertaking. Sometimes, even if you manage to bounce back from the setbacks and the challenges, you can still find it hard to gather the motivation that you need to continue with your project. In those situations, what you want to do is go into technique number 3, which is envisioning the desired end state. The reason why this works is because it is much easier to achieve something if you can visualize yourself already achieving it in your mind. Now, this is not just a hypothesis, but it is part of neuroscience. And the psychiatrist Regina Pally describes this process as follows in her article, The Predictive Brain. And she writes, even before an event happens, the brain has already made the prediction about what is most likely to happen and sets in motion the predictions, behaviors, emotions, psychological responses, and interpersonal ways of relating that best fit with what is predicted. Essentially, envisioning is aligning our expectations with our psychological responses and our emotions, so that by aligning what you want to accomplish, your entire way of behaving, your entire way of reacting, and how you feel towards the situation will be more aligned to provide more motivation. And by doing this, you're channeling these positive emotions that will help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. So in summary, motivation is all about channeling the right emotions towards your objective or your goal. And in this video, we saw 3 different techniques that can help you channel those emotions to increase your motivation. The first one was a delaying gratification. And this is all about handling emotions of boredom and frustration so that you can in turn channel emotions of peace and calmness that will help you focus on your task. The second technique we saw was choosing an optimistic explanatory style. And this is all about understanding that your setbacks are not due to personal failures, right? And you can overcome the challenge in the end. And this will help you channel feelings of competency and adequacy when you're going through your project. And the third and last technique that we saw was envisioning the desired end state. And this is what is going to allow you to align your predictions and psychological responses with your desired end state of your project. And it's going to help you channel those feelings of positivity that will help you again keep going after your objective. All of these 3 techniques that we just talked about are channeling different emotions that will help you move towards your objective, that will help you be motivated to accomplishing your vision. Now, if you like the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I will have a lot more videos like this one, and I will also publish other videos on emotional intelligence. Motivation was, as I said at the beginning, the 3rd component of emotional intelligence, and there's 2 more that I will release. Now, if you want to start improving your motivation by envisioning your desired end state, I welcome you to click on this meditation here, which is going to be a 10-minute guided meditation that will help you to align your predictions and your psychological responses to generate emotions of positivity and motivation to help you accomplish your objective. So thank you very much and have a great day.